Did y'all hear they're starting to use AI to analyze crime timelines, police body cam footage, and even predict where crimes might occur? Now that's what I call an arrested development. Let's talk about it. Hey there, all you guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome back on the Lookout with Kami. I'm Derek, aka Kami. And as I was saying, predictive policing. If you haven't heard of it before, the label says exactly what's on the box. Law enforcement agencies are using algorithms to analyze past data, arrest records, incident reports, locations, and patterns, to try and predict where crime is going to happen next. Legal scholar Andrew Ferguson, whose work focuses heavily on predictive policing theory, notes that these systems rely on historical crime data and pattern recognition models to forecast future policing targets. On paper, it sounds efficient, proactive, even objective. But nothing says unbiased like a computer trained on decades of biased decisions. You see, that is the hitch. Once you start digging into how these systems actually work, the question stops being, is this effective? And it starts being, what exactly is it learning from? The key thing to understand is that these systems don't extrapolate from nothingness, or run complex equations based purely on laws and ethics. They're trained on historical data. Historical data that's been created by and input by, did you guess humans? You guessed right! If you guessed lizards, I'm going to need you to see me after the podcast.
Lizard, 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 lizard.
When it comes to policing, that data isn't neutral. You see, it's kind of like asking a middle school student to grade their own homework, and then being surprised when they give themselves an A. The National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers has even warned that predictive policing risks modernizing historical injustice rather than eliminating it. If certain neighborhoods have been over-policed for decades, that's where the data is going to be concentrated. More patrols lead to more stops. More stops lead to more recorded incidents. And suddenly, it looks like those areas are inherently more criminal. Not because they actually are, but because they've been watched harder. You see, if you stare at something long enough, you're going to find something, even if it's not really there. So, when an algorithm processes that data, it doesn't question it. It doesn't ask why. It just recognizes a pattern. And then it sends officers right back to the same places time and time again. And this isn't some fringe critique either. It's not just being critical for the sake of being critical. There have been a lot of concerns raised that predictive policing doesn't actually predict crime. In fact, the ACLU and multiple civil rights organizations have argued that these systems are often better at predicting police presence than actual criminal activity. What I'm trying to say is it doesn't predict crime. It predicts where police have already been. It basically says, Waldo was on the bottom right corner on 3 out of the last 5 pages, so he's going to be on the bottom right corner of this one as well. What it turns out is we didn't build a system that can predict crime. We built one that can predict where we already expect it.
We created a high-tech echo chamber.
And that's a huge distinction. Because if you're not predicting crime, you're predicting policing. All you're really doing is reinforcing the same system. So, buckle in, heroes.
It gets worse.
Some of these systems don't just predict locations. They try to predict people. Who is likely to commit a crime? Who is high risk? Ferguson's research also discusses how predictive policing systems increasingly move away from predicting locations and toward predicting individuals themselves. At this point, we're not talking about policing anymore. We're talking about Minority Report.
Oh, I love this part. I've got no address, last known or otherwise. No tax returns for the last 5 years.
Check NCIC, maybe he's got a record. And send a protection team as soon as we lock location.
Just with worse special effects and a bigger budget. There are some serious concerns that these tools end up targeting black and brown communities disproportionately, because the data they're built on is already skewed due to the historic over-policing of said communities. Say it with me, everyone. That's not a glitch. It's a pattern. And that is exactly where Ruha Benjamin comes in, with the idea of the new Jim Code. In Race After Technology, Benjamin argues that technology often disguises inequality beneath the appearance of neutrality and efficiency, or what she calls the new Jim Code. You see, what she argues is that technology doesn't fix inequality. It reorganizes it. It hides it. It wraps it in language like efficiency and objectivity. It slaps lipstick on a pig in hopes that everyone calls it a model.
No. This is lip balm. It's cherry flavor, so it might appear to be lipstick, but this is lip balm.
Predictive policing is a textbook example of that. It's not breaking the system.
It is the system, just running on better hardware.
No one is standing up and saying,
We're going to target these communities.
Instead, the system just does it. And it points to the data as justification. So the real question becomes, if a system consistently produces biased outcomes, is it malfunctioning?
Is it malfunctioning?
Or is it doing exactly what we taught it to do, and now we're mad that it learned too well? That's the part that we don't like to sit with. That's the uncomfortable hot seat nobody wants to sit in. That's the inconvenient truth, just like climate change. But that's a topic for another day. It's a lot easier to call something a glitch than it is to admit it's working exactly how it was programmed to. Predictive policing doesn't just respond to crime, it reshapes where attention goes. It determines who gets watched, who gets stopped, and who becomes part of the data going forward. In most cases, who gets to continue being a part of the data. It's not just predictive. It's recursive. It's repetitive. At this point, it's less prediction and more confirmation bias with a software update. Like I said,
A high-tech echo chamber.
so when we hear that AI is going to make policing more fair or objective, the better question is, fair according to what data? Objective according to what history? Because if the foundation is biased to start, then all you've done is take a human problem, automate it, and then act surprised when it upscales. That's why this matters beyond just policing. Because this isn't just one system. It's a blueprint. This is the Iron Man movie for the AI cinematic universe. This is phase 1. And humanity is jogging at lightning speed toward a tech-based Thanos snap. If we keep treating technology as neutral, we're going to keep getting outcomes that aren't. Our good buddy Einstein said, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results." And then again, maybe he didn't.
AI says he did, though.
So yeah, Arrested Development might have been the joke. But the reality is, we're not stuck because technology isn't advancing. We're stuck because we keep advancing it without questioning what it's built on. You build a house on faulty foundation. You can't be surprised when it crumbles under the weight of your own hubris. And yeah, we keep pushing the envelope without acknowledging what's in the letter. At some point, that stops being innovation and starts being willful ignorance with a user interface. So, what's going to come next? I guess I can't predict that. But I can tell you this much. I'll keep being on the lookout. Thanks for joining me today. I've been Derek, aka Kami, CEO and founder of Atop the Lookout Productions. Remember that you are deserving of love. You are loved because I love you. And in all that you do, above all else, do good.
Thank you.